兄弟们，今天是我回北京找工作的第18天了。
Brothers, today is the 18th day of my job search in Beijing. During this period, I have interviewed with several companies. One of them has completed the interview process, and I am now waiting for the result. If I pass, the HR is expected to notify me within a week. If I don't pass, there will be no notification. This interview made me realize that finding a job is really tough now. Various industries are laying off employees, and many companies are doing the same things. When an industry finally reaches a point of deciding winners and losers, a large number of companies will go bankrupt. Therefore, when I choose a company, I ask myself whether what I do can truly create value for society. I originally thought finding a job was just a short-term matter, but time has flown by so quickly. Recently, as seen in the news, traditional three-piece suit professions are no longer reliable. Autonomous driving is taking away the jobs of ride-hailing drivers, and delivery robots are competing with couriers. It might not be long before robots can really replace security guards. The opportunities left for ordinary people are really scarce, and it's better not to take jobs that compete with robots. Just like in a novel I read, in the future, ordinary people might really be exiled to other planets by the middle class, and all value will be created by robots. Ordinary people will even have to pay to breathe. Of course, I hope more that I can live in a virtual game world like the characters in a game, enjoying the fun of the game. So what the future will be like, I think we will have an answer soon.
Why are there layoffs everywhere recently? Yesterday, a friend of mine was also laid off by her company. When I went to pick her up, I saw her helpless look. She said, "I was laid off by the company." She had already packed her things, just a cushion and a thermos. Her eyes showed anxiety and unease. I immediately hugged her. She smiled and said, "I can find another job if I lose this one. Let's have a big meal today." So, we decided to have a good meal. She told me that this morning the HR asked her for a talk, and she had already guessed it because the company had been making moves recently. The talk lasted about 10 minutes, and they settled some compensation, including Provident Fund and Social Security, with compensation according to the contract of N+1. She said she would first see if she could find a suitable job. If she couldn't, she would go back to the countryside to help her dad sell meat. My friend felt very confused, not knowing what to do besides working. But she also said that as long as she let go of her obsessions, opening a small shop would be good too, using internet thinking to run it. For the past 8 years, she has always felt like a donkey, always moving forward. I laughed and said, "You are used to working hard like a horse and cow. Now that you are resting, you are not used to it." She sighed and said she might be scared of being poor. Without an income source, she feels anxious spending money every day. I think Chinese people live too tired. Once they rest, they feel uneasy and guilty. This is actually because they have no confidence in the future, no security, and no sense of security. Do you think so?
There
are some strange phenomena in Shanghai lately, and you'll be shocked when you hear about them. First, there are far fewer delivery guys running Didi and delivering food, but there still aren't enough orders to go around. Second, it used to be that at 8 or 9 p.m., the Bund and Nanjing East Road were crowded with beautiful women and handsome men, but now you'll see that there are far fewer people. Third, houses can't be rented out. As soon as you exit the subway, you'll see rental information posted everywhere. Many people are still looking for jobs on recruitment websites but can't find one. Fourth, last month, the number of second-hand houses listed for sale reached 250,000 units, but there are fewer and fewer buyers. Houses priced at 5 million yuan have been reduced to 3 million yuan, yet no one is looking. In my loan industry, we also noticed that the market is pretty quiet now. There are fewer businesses in shopping malls, and fewer people are going shopping. I'm quite puzzled. The world has long moved past the pandemic, so why is it still like this? How bleak will the future economy be? Will it recover? I'm really worried.
In
2024, do not resign from your job. Do not put yourself in a state of unemployment voluntarily. It is really too difficult to find a job now, and finding a good job is even harder. All industries are cutting salaries now. Many people act impulsively, saying that if their salary is cut, they will resign. This idea might have been valid a few years ago when a pay cut could have been a boss making things difficult for you, but now it seems that everyone is really struggling, and there is not much surplus left. Moreover, it is not just you who is experiencing a pay cut, everyone around you is as well. Perhaps if you stick it out and get through this period, your salary will come back. If you really have the idea of resigning, do not act impulsively, give yourself some time to weigh the pros and cons. If you really want to resign, either your savings can support you, or you have already found a better paying job. Now, finding a job requires preparing for a long battle. If it's fast, it might take 2 to 3 months, and if it's slow, it could take 5 to 6 months to find a job. You also need to have enough savings to get through this gap period and support your family life. In fact, for many people, the psychological pressure after unemployment is much greater than the economic pressure. Many people feel anxious about not finding a job while also regretting their resignation, which is a very torturous state. In the past 2 years, the jobs best suited for a transitional period, such as ride-hailing drivers and food delivery workers, have almost reached saturation. The number of ride-hailing drivers has soared from 900,000 to 6,300,000, and the number of food delivery workers has increased from 2,200,000 to 7,450,000. Previously, 1 kilometer could earn 2 yuan per order, but now it is less than 5 maro per kilometer. Earning a little money is very difficult. At this stage, it is better to maintain a calm mindset. Resigning will not change the fact of salary cuts. There might be many people waiting for your position to become vacant. We still need to work steadily and solidly.
Young people in China are slowly starting to notice that friends around them are spending less and less, and dining out less frequently. When shopping, they no longer pursue brand name items. Instead, everyone is trying hard to save money. The entire consumer market is showing a downward trend, quietly creeping into our lives. In the past, when we walked into a mall, we always saw bustling crowds and a dazzling array of goods, with lively scenes everywhere. However, the current situation is that stepping into a mall feels like pressing the pause button, becoming exceptionally quiet. The wide corridors look like an unattended stage, and the splendid lights cannot brighten the coldness among the crowd. Shops are meticulously decorated one after another, eagerly awaiting customers. They display the trendiest clothes and the most luxurious gifts to attract customers. However, these shops rarely see any visitors. The once crowded rest areas now only have a few scattered figures, with benches eagerly waiting for customers to sit down. The children's playgrounds, which used to be packed, now require parents to make reservations in advance to let their children play. Yet, even on weekends, it is rare to see children playing in the playgrounds. The once lively playgrounds now look desolate, with only a few children playing, and the occasional laughter makes the emptiness even more pronounced. The mall seems like a lonely castle, eagerly waiting for people to arrive, hoping that the long-lost hustle and bustle will once again fill every corner. The loneliness of the mall begs the question, who will reignite the flames of prosperity and bring back the vibrant atmosphere to this mall?
18万开了一家汉堡店，半个月的时间倒闭了。
I spent 180,000 yuan to open a burger shop, but it closed down in just half a month. It is now past 7 p.m. Today, my husband and I drove more than 200 kilometers to Hangzhou. We ate at a famous local Yunnan Crossing the Bridge rice noodle restaurant. Then we tried rice noodles at 2 other restaurants. Finally, we thickened our faces and continued to find the owner of the most famous Adong rice noodles. When we arrived, the owner was live streaming. I didn't want to disturb her. It was so hot, already past 7 p.m., and their dine-in area was still crowded. The owner was still working hard to live stream in the 38 degrees Celsius heat. This made me suddenly realize that my failure was not just a matter of cognition. Finally, I gathered the courage to chat with the owner of Adong rice noodles. For some reason, my shop had no business for the past half month, and I was so anxious that I couldn't sleep. I didn't cry then, nor did I cry when I saw the small shop I had run with my own hands close down. But in front of a stranger, I suddenly couldn't hold back and cried hard. I am really grateful to the owner of Adong rice noodles, a fellow colleague I had never met before. She did not despise my failure and recklessness, quietly listened to my experience, and kept telling me that this year was not suitable for a catering novice like me to start a business. Although she did not agree to teach me how to make rice noodles, she still advised me to stop the loss in time and transfer the shop as soon as possible. I still feel that today's trip was not in vain. On the way back, I told my husband that I would come back tomorrow. I will use my way to impress her. If I have another chance, I will stand up bravely, just as I fell before. I announce that my small business has closed. The rise of the internet has affected some who watch videos, while also making successful those who play with the internet. Now, there are some young people who use their internet skills to make money through eye-catching street vending tactics, then start charging for mentoring. They make a lot of money from those post-2000s who don't want to work and young people who want to learn some skills. They are really harvesting one batch after another. The more people desire to make money, the easier it is for them to be deceived and misled. I originally thought that the economy would recover after the pandemic ended, but now making money is even harder than during the pandemic years. Large companies are closing down one after another, more and more people are losing their jobs, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to find work. Those who owe money do not repay it, and those who owe others can't repay their debts. This has become the state of life for most people. In 2020, I still had some savings. But now, how many people are like me, left with nothing but debt after 3 years of the pandemic? Now, I can only sell my car and house to pay off debts. Some people say that I only set up my street stall to film videos, but only I know the hardships. Often, I drove my small truck to the wholesale market to get goods, only to be bullied by the security guards there. Every day, I moved hundreds of kilograms of fruit by myself. On winter nights with temperatures below -10 degrees Celsius, I sold milk tea with feet so frozen they went numb. I rode a tricycle to sell skewers and was constantly chased away by the urban management officers. Others seem to succeed quickly with their street vending businesses, but my experience has been full of hardships. Now, I announce that my small business is closed. As for what comes next, I can only take it one step at a time.
Why have so many young people in China started setting up street stalls in the past 2 years? They're everywhere, especially at busy intersections and under residential buildings. I believe this phenomenon is due to several reasons. First, the unemployment rate has increased. Many young people cannot find jobs and have had to start setting up stalls. Even though there are already many people doing this, they still hope to earn a share of the market. Second, the era of large-scale real estate development in China has ended. Most of the surrounding villages that needed to be demolished have already been demolished, which has led to a significant reduction in jobs in related industries. Third, in recent years, China's manufacturing industry has been greatly affected by the economic environment. After the pandemic, many factories closed down, and many foreign investments left China, leading to a large number of job losses. Lastly, compared to other entrepreneurial projects, the cost of setting up a street stall is relatively low, and the risks involved are relatively small. Therefore, many young people who can't find suitable jobs have had to set up stalls to make a living. Many recent graduates have said that if they can't find a suitable job, they will also join the ranks of street vendors. However, it is now difficult to find good stall locations. Those who started setting up stalls early have already made a lot of money. Starting now, is it a bit too late?